Hey everyone, welcome back to Somonul Art. I'm Somonul, and in today's video we're diving into the exciting process of making animations in Maya and importing them into the Unreal Engine. Whether you're a seasoned animator or just starting out, this tutorial will help you streamline your workflow and bring your animations to life in Unreal. So let's get started. Oh man, I think I had a little bit too much fun animating that intro video. You can see these little artifacting in here. This is normal for Maya. I'm working in a full scale, which was kind of a mistake on this project for me. It is a 1:1 scale. Usually I model in 1:100, and you start getting these artifacts when your models get super big, so that's normal. As you've seen in our previous videos, how we set up the control curves, and as you can see, I've got an animation already started. So let me go ahead and close out the attribute editor, and we probably don't even need the outliner right now, and we'll get a good view on this thing, and we'll scrub through it real quick so you can see it's parked right here before it takes off. It's adjusting its flaps and its rudders, making sure everything's working correctly, and then we've got the actual launch. It just takes off, the gears start to retract, and then it starts to fly around and do some maneuvers. So this is going to be cool. I've got everything all keyframed and set up. Basically what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to bake out all of our keyframes. So we're going to go ahead and look at our channel box right here, and it's going to put a little frame for each thing. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'm going to go ahead and just view my bones right here, and probably go into outliner and make sure we've got our root one selected, which would be very helpful. Now you can right click once you have your root and select the hierarchy, which is going to select everything. I'll show you the option there. We're just going to go up here to edit, and right under here keys and bake simulation, and we're going to click the options box right here, and that'll pull up this right here. So right now, since I've got the entire hierarchy of bones selected, I can just click selected right here, but in case that's not an option for some bizarre reason, we'll just do it selecting it by its root. So I don't have any other bones selected, and everything below that root is going to be selected in this, and it's going to be baked in. So I've got a couple options here I want to just double check on, which is going to be the time slider. I'm working with 370 frames, so it's going to use all those. I can click here and specify where I want it to bake to. So if I only want it to do 10 frames, but I want the entire thing to be baked in, and the rest of it's going to be pretty much default. I'm not going to add anything new to it. So what I'll do is I'll just click this bake right here and let it run its thing. You can see it's going right through the scrub bar, and it's playing the animation, but it's also putting a keyframe for each single thing, which is what we want. And now you can see I've got tons of keyframes. So I can select each one of these bones individually, and they've got keyframes for everything now. That's pretty wild. But of course we need that because now everything's just locked down and the whole animation is baked. All right, now comes to the fun part of exporting. And this is very similar to exporting any kind of character or anything that you did. The only thing different that we did in this time is we're not working in zero space. My grid is way over here. You see that? That's my grid. That's my starter position. This can be a little bit challenging because usually you have your animation at the 0 point, and you can see we're way back here, and because this is such a crazy scale, I didn't want to animate this thing inside of Unreal, so I had to start it way back here to give me some runway room. What happened was, you see this insane number over here, the further out I got, Maya started exploding when I got into the 100,000s, so I had to back it all the way over here and let it fly all the way to the other side. Lesson learned on this, but in case you guys ever encounter a problem like this, you'll know how to address it now. So to export this, I've got this, as you can see, normally I would have everything grouped, but Unreal does not like it when you export and everything's grouped. You'll get all kinds of naming problems, and it's going to be looking for objects that exist but don't exist, and you get all kinds of errors. I found this to be the most efficient way to do this. So I've got all my model geometry right here. I'm going to select that, and then I've got my core root right here. So I'm going to select those. Those are the only two things I'm working with. The control curves, we're not going to export those. We're not going to export anything else. Just the joints right here, and then the grouping right here. Just beautiful. So I'm going to go up here to File and Export Selection, and we want to make sure we're in the FBX Export, which we are. And real quick, just make sure we have all of our options set. There's really nothing too fancy. Make sure you have this animation checked though. That's super important because that'll export all the keyframes on the animation. Now another quick option is there's somewhere in here, oh yeah, right here, bake animation. What we just did, you can just tick this and set the frames and it'll automatically bake everything for you. This is good. Usually works 95% of the time. I've run into some errors where some things don't go according to plan, but that's always to be expected with anything in this 3D world. So I usually will pre-bake it, but if you wanted to, you could just skip that whole step and just click this bake animation right here, select your frames, and you're good to go. We'll give it a file name, Core Fighter Take Off, and then we'll go ahead and hit export and give it a couple seconds, and it's going to run through its thing. All right, we're done. Now we're ready. We can move on over to the Unreal Engine. Here we are in the Unreal Engine, and this is where it gets a little bit fun. So all we're going to do here is I've got a folder created. We're just going to create a new folder for the sake of this demo. Animation, files, and there we are in this new folder. So I've got the animation import, animation files I'm in, and we're just going to go here to this import tab. And then we can go ahead and look for our file, which is right here. We've only got one file in there right now. So I'll just double click this. Wait for it to pop up this FBX import options menu here. And pretty much everything's going to be default. I'm not doing anything different. Computed normals, really, I've already got the model imported, and if I was importing just the model itself, then I would just import normals and tangents. I don't deal with that. It usually pops up some kind of weird errors and issues just because of the way Maya exports things. But what we do want to do here is where it says import mesh. I don't want to import that mesh. I just want to import the skeleton. So you can see as soon as I took that off, I've got skeleton mesh right here, and then I've got import mesh. It just disappears. And then we're going to look for our skeleton right here. I'm going to drop this little tab down. I've got a bunch of other junk on here, so we're just going to look for our core fighter, which is right here. So I got my core fighter skeleton here. We'll just go ahead and select that. Beautiful. So now I'm going to be pulling the skeleton, and it's going to be attached to my actual model, which is sitting right here. I don't need to change any scale. Like I said, it's 1:1. That was kind of a mistake on my part, but it comes in real handy for importing it to Unreal. I don't need to do any calculating. So we'll just click import and let it do its thing. Boom, there we are right here. It usually takes a couple of seconds to calculate a thumbnail for it, but mine's so far in the back. We'll just double click that and you can see it's doing its thing. There it goes. It shot off. It's going. And then it's starting to do its flying thing. So our animation is completely imported in, guys. That was pretty quick and easy. We can close this tab out now. Now, how do we apply that animation to this model? Well, that's going to be pretty simple. We're going to go up here to our sequencer, and we're going to add a new level sequence. So now I've got it in right here. And what I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and drop this into here to animate it, and then we're going to drop our camera in here as well, which is a cinematic camera. You see as we scrub through, it does absolutely nothing. We're going to have to actually probably pump up the frames just to show this off. We have animation right underneath it, but what we want to do is select this track up at the top. We're going to scroll up here to animation. You can see I've got several other ones right on here. And then I've got the core fighter takeoff that we just imported right here. This is the one I'm going to select. So that's pretty much it. It's all set up and ready to go. You can see now it's operating it correctly. And like I said, we have definitely got to address this. I don't know why it always has to back you way out there. That is one weird thing about Unreal. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and make this go out a little bit more. And there we go. So you can see the wheels retract and it's flying just as it should. So just that simple, guys. The only difficult thing that I have right now is I can't zero this out. My animation is in the hanger So what I've got to do in order to be able to do that real quick before I close this video out to show you that, guys, is we can still use the transform keys and place it where we want to. Doesn't have to be precise because this is the start of an animation. The next animation I can do, I can have it at the 0 space and I won't have any issues with that, but you can see we can still translate. We can line it up to where we need it to be inside of the hanger, and we have full control over that. Just keyframe it, and then once that keyframe is dropped, you're pretty much set and golden. All right, my friends, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you found this tutorial helpful on baking animations in Maya and then importing them into the Unreal Engine. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Somonul Art for more tips, tricks, and tutorials. Be sure to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. And until next time, happy animating, my friends.